What's up, guys? Crypto Muser here with your daily news and analysis in the crypto markets. Now, I've been seeing this video being circulated on Twitter lately, and a lot of people don't understand. This is a video from 2 years ago. Leah Hilpern, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She is a total Bitcoin maxi, by the way. And it's funny, when she interviewed this guy, he's a long-time employee at Swift, and he starts talking about how Swift is trying to integrate using XRP, using crypto on their platform. And you could tell she kind of like, oh, maybe I should change the subject here. This doesn't sound like it's good for Bitcoin. It's just pretty funny how she did this 2 years ago, and she still goes on and acts like it never happened, right? So let's just listen to the interview here and tell me, this is 2 years ago. I want to remind you guys, this is 2 years ago, this interview. And then I want to show you a clip of what I just saw this morning from Cointelegraph and what they're saying about what Swift is trying to do with ISO 222 moving in the next couple months or so. So let's listen to the interview real quick, and then we'll move on and talk about it.
Here's a discussion surrounding crypto replacing Swift. So we did speak earlier where you mentioned that it's not necessarily about replacing Swift, it's about complementing it. So let's get some more information on this.
Okay. I used to work for Swift. I was Swift for 20 years, so Swift is flowing through my veins. Swift is the preeminent messaging system for the financial industry, which covers, say, payments, FX, trade, in terms of securities, etc., Nostra reconciliations, etc. What we're looking with the crypto, though, is where Swift would have a store and forward system for most of its payment transactions, where you need service level agreements that in a certain time I will do something, but payment turns up at a certain time during the day. Here we're looking at the new network styles, which allow instant, real-time movement to the funds and visibility of those funds as well. So we would not have a situation where banks need to come back to you and say, have my funds arrived, it's 3 days later, I need to find out or find query messages moving around the network. There's nothing like that. I don't believe Ripple is going to replace Swift. Ripple is one of the complementary networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that. And I think we're also seeing that Swift are changing their network capability so that real time will be a possibility as well. But we may also see Ripple XRP moving across the Swift network as a currency when we're perhaps using something like FX.
Now, so, I just slightly moving on for a second.
Yeah.
Just slightly moving on for a second. She didn't want to talk about that. As soon as he mentioned XRP, she was like, let's move on to the next thing here. I mean, this is 2 years ago, guys. So the next thing I want to show you, just building off of that, this is Cointelegraph this morning, I believe, or this afternoon. Breaking news, Swift to test central bank digital currencies for international transfers. And even down here, we are testing how Swift can interlink the multiple domestic-based CBDC networks emerging worldwide to make cross-border payments with CBDCs more seamless and frictionless. And what does Ripple offer with XRP and RippleNet? They're working with CBDs to integrate the XRP ledger. I mean, it's happening, guys, right? That was 2 years ago where he mentioned XRP, and this is a 20-year veteran at Swift saying that they're trying to integrate Ripple's XRP, Ripple utilizing XRP as that bridge currency. He didn't say, I mean, we haven't been saying that Ripple is going to take over Swift, but I've always said, even if they take 10%, 15, 20% of the market share of Swift, that's we're talking trillions of dollars. So what does that do with the price of XRP? I mean, we can all speculate, but obviously it'll be more than, what is it, at 50 cents, 40, 42 cents, whatever it is right now. I mean, obviously it's going to be much more than $1, $2. And even David Schwartz even said for ODL and XRP to be utilized in the best form, it needs to be more than $1, right? To move billions of dollars daily, it needs to be up towards $10, $15, $50, $100 even. And that's what we're getting. That's what we're going to get to I believe, in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm thinking $50 to $100 XRP in the next 5 to 10 years easily, right? If not more. I mean, you're talking about, I always said this, Swift is, I think, a $400 trillion a year network. That's how much money moves on the Swift network on a yearly basis. That's a serious market there, right? And like I said, that employee, this guy over here, this employee here, 20 years at Swift. He knows what he's talking about when he speaks. And like I said, 2 years ago, obviously a lot has changed in 2 years. And Ripple has changed a lot in those 2 years and has grown a lot in those 2 years. So, I mean, has Swift been basically piloting XRP using RippleNet and ODL in the last 2 years? You can probably bet on it, right? So moving on. So John Deaton tweeted this out. And this is replying to Stefan Huber's tweet about how the SEC and Gary Gensler came out and said, we really care about the investors so much that, I've been talking to all my big bank friends, and they all say that, a lot of people are taking their money out of bank accounts and putting their funds into these highly speculative assets like cryptocurrency, and we really are worried about these investors. We need to stop this because they're going to lose money, and we'd rather have their money safe in our hands, with JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and all the big banks, because we're really worried about these investors, right? You kidding me? So John, I'm going to get to what it says in this piece here, but let's just hear what John Deaton tweeted about. This really does sum up Gary Gensler's problem with crypto, and it is, in his own words, I can vision him listening to Jamie Dimon. He's obviously the CEO of JP Morgan. Jamie Dimons of the world, shaking his head in disgust and thinking, we have to stop these people from taking their money out of the bank. Now, let's just get into this real quick. This is what the SEC said about the crypto markets. Over the past year, several bank executives have shared their concerns with me about the sheer number of depositors who have moved money from their bank accounts into crypto-related exchanges and wallets. Oh, the concern. Oh my God, they're so concerned about these investors that are taking their money out of the bank and putting them into crypto. I mean, they're so worried about these investors. I mean, they're going to lose a lot of money. We'd rather have that money back in the banks, right? Such BS. And then down here it says, as I hear from bank executives about their customers shifting their savings to speculative crypto assets, I think of how Mr. Dolly responded to a clear need to protect investors as technology and finance changes. Are you kidding me? Like, these guys are just too much, man. You have the accredited investor rules, so they basically, if you don't have enough money, you can't, make money, is what they're trying to say with that. Then they're saying, oh my God, all these people are taking their money out of banks and they're putting it into this highly speculative asset class. And, we're really worried about these investors. How much BS do we have to sit through? I mean, that is the most, the smart move is keeping your money in a bank, right? Let me give my money to a banker, right? So they can use my money and go loan it out for 20%, right? On a credit card. And then they give me, they're using my money to make money, but then they're giving me 0.05% yearly on my money. Why would I? And not to mention the 8.5% inflation year to year. So I'm actually losing money by holding my money in a bank. So yeah, let's go do that. That's a great idea. Let's keep telling people that keeping your money in a savings account is the best way to save your money. Oh my God. This is the problem with America and actually the world, is that this is not taught to people. People think that it is a great thing. You should save, you keep your money in a bank every week, throw a little money in your savings account, and by the time you're 60, you'll have some money to live off of. It's like, what? No. They don't teach you that is the worst thing to do with your money. The worst thing to do with your money is to put it in a bank account and sit there and lose money on the inflation. And let the government just keep printing money to devalue your dollar. You're telling me that that's the best way? That's what we should be doing? And they really care about investors, right? I love how they're concerned, right? These big banks are so concerned about you guys. You're taking your money out of their bank and putting them into crypto-related exchanges and wallets. They're so concerned about you, right? Oh, the BS, oh my God, it irks me so much hearing these Goldman Gary, right? He really cares about investors. Oh my God, it works me up, right? It should work you up too. And then this is Gary Gensler on the Hill this morning, I believe. It could have been yesterday, but I think it was this morning he was talking. This is him trying, I think I mentioned in a video yesterday that he was trying to get more funds from Congress to go after crypto. And this is him in Congress asking, he's like pleading, we don't want that much. We just want another 6% to protect investors. That's all we're trying to do. And I remember my tweet yesterday was, so Gary Gensler wants more money from taxpayers to go and then hurt more taxpayers with that money. Like, are you kidding me? Like, really? And if Congress gives them money, I swear to God, I have no faith in this Congress. And you hear a lot of talk from Tom Emmer and Warren Davidson and all these congressmen saying that we're gonna go come after Gary Gensler. We're not gonna let him do this. It's a lot of words I hear out there. I don't see any action. So until I see some action, I don't trust any of these politicians. And you guys shouldn't either. I know you see them on Twitter tweeting out all these big words saying that they're gonna, put the clamp down on the SEC and help the American people. You should be looking right through that stuff. Unless action is happening, don't believe a thing you see on Twitter, right? These politicians will, especially in a midterm year, they will tell you whatever they want you to hear, right? Especially in an election year. They're gonna say whatever you want to hear. Until they actually do something, you should not believe a word they're saying. That's the way you should be dealing with these politicians. Oh wait, I didn't even show you guys a video, dude. So hold on. Digital Perspectives tweeted out, the big push to get the banks in control of this asset class, not crypto exchanges. I'm guessing the new barrier for entry, crypto exchanges will need to partner with banks for the proper oversight and licenses. And I honestly, regulation needs to come into this space. I mean, look what just happened with Luna and the Terra UST coin. Obviously, we know regulation needs to come, but obviously not from the SEC. It needs to come from Congress. We need laws to come in for this regulation. We don't need an agency that we know is corrupt that works for the big banks to make regulation. And obviously, it doesn't seem like they are going to anyway. And even with this executive order that Biden signed a couple months ago, that I think it's working on, I think sometime in September, that all these agencies are working together supposedly to come in with this framework. It needs to be Congress stepping in to make this framework. You're obviously going to see stablecoin regulation, but you need this regulation because look at exchanges, right? Everybody's had issues with exchanges. If you've been in crypto long enough, you've had issues. I've had issues with Coinbase. I don't even use that trash anymore because they charge insane fees. They have these secret fees where they basically sell you at, if you're going to buy a crypto, they sell you at a more expensive price and they slap a fee on it. And when you try to sell it, they charge you a higher price or a slower price, and they slap another fee on it. And they don't let you know. They're also like secret fees they put on it. And every crypto exchange really does it, but it's all about finding that exchange that does it in has those lower fees. Uphold has kind of lower fees. Crypto.com. I mean, just you got to shop around basically with these exchanges, but they can basically. There's a reason why the exchanges are making the most money is because these fees. They're acting like the banks. They're doing exactly what the bankers would do. So there needs to be regulation on these exchanges for sure. But once you start bringing big banks and partnering with these exchanges, obviously they're going to keep doing the same thing they've been doing with these secret fees. That's how they make most of their money is off these fees, right? If you're dealing with a bank, the ATM fees, the overdraft fees. The monthly fees to have money in your account. Like, it's crazy to think that I just opened a Chase account here. I'm in Florida. And, if you have to have a certain amount of money in your account, or they charge you a $95 monthly fee. It's like, wait a minute, I'm giving you my money, and then you can take my money and go make money with it. But if I don't have enough money for you to, it's basically, if I don't have enough money in my account so you can use that money to make money, then you're going to slap me with a fee? Wait a minute, how does that make any sense? So basically, I have to pay you to keep my money in your bank. I mean, it's ridiculous how these banks get away with this because there's no one regulating. You think Gary Gensler is having any real regulation against these banks? JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, any of these banks? Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. They get fined yearly billions and billions of dollars for doing shady deals, for money laundering, controlling the metal markets. They just keep doing it, and there's really no rules. Yeah, the rules are there. They're more like guidelines, and they just get slapped on the wrist every time they do something wrong. It's the way it is. Deep breaths, right? Deep breaths. Okay, so I think this is Crypto Eddie tweeted this out, and I think this is very important to get a face on the name. We've heard the name Matthew Solomon a lot. He's basically the head lawyer for Ripple in this case with the SEC, and I've read through a lot of his briefings and a lot of his filings, and I always thought, and even a lot of the attorneys in the XRP community are always saying how he's such a great attorney, and all his briefs that he writes are amazing, and this guy's a top lawyer for sure. And even Jeremy Hogan says here, Solomon turns that chair into a throne. And Jeremy Hogan has a little man crush on Matt Solomon. But I want to show you guys this video so you can guys get a face to the name here of Matthew Solomon, and just look at his body, his posture, just his body language that he has. He just is a very confident. He when he speaks, you can tell he knows what he's talking about, and he's just a confident guy. And this is the type of lawyer you want to defend you in any lawsuit, let alone a huge lawsuit like Ripple. But listen to this quick interview. It's only about 2 minutes long.
And we've also seen beefing up of
That's
the
Matt
SEC's
Solomon right
litigation function. I don't think this was expressed in the press release announcing new enforcement lawyers to the crypto program. We're going to talk about that a little bit later in the panel. But my understanding is that there's going to be some dedicated litigators in the crypto space that the SEC is adding to its litigation function.
Yeah, the addition of about 20 people up to 50 total is a very significant addition of resources. Matt, you read the release like a hawk. It does mention trial counsel, and that is a significant development. I view that as significant. I'm sure in your prior experience you recognize the significance of that. And I agree that there are questions in the space that likely will litigate. So I think it wouldn't be surprising to anyone who's been following the cases that there will likely be litigated cases. And I think in our view, that's good.
Hold on for a second. It was just funny when he just spoke to Matt Solomon there. He was almost like kind of afraid of him. I know you read through that. Like you can tell when he spoke, right? That guy from the SEC was kind of like, he's leaning forward. He not a lot of confidence, right? But look at Matt Solomon here. He's leaning back. He's got his hands on the chair like he's the king of this throne, like Jeremy Hogan said. This guy's a boss. Let's be real. Like, this is one of the best lawyers, I think, that, and like I said, when I read through his briefings and his filings that he's written throughout this case, he kills it. He absolutely kills it. And it's not just me saying this. It's all the lawyers in the XRP community are saying the same. But let's just continue on here.
So to me, what that all adds up to is it may not be so simple to apply traditional securities law principles to the crypto space. I think at some level the commission recognizes that, and I think that's why the commission is beefing up its litigation function. So I think that's an interesting development, and one that probably presages additional litigation in the years to come in this space, because I think there still is quite a lot of unsettled issues to be resolved, and I think some of those are going to have to be resolved by judges, not by the SEC or other regulators. Great question, and this is, again, a hot issue worth paying attention to. The SEC is not going to draw its own lines with jurisdiction. Naturally, it's a regulator. It's going to assert the broadest possible jurisdiction. So that is something courts are going to have to do.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that there's going to be a tidal wave of judicial decisions that's going to shape, a lot of this area that we're going to be talking about for a long time.
Like, when I first saw that, I was like, "Damn, guy, this dude." This was recent. I believe this was like yesterday, where you have Matt Solomon, the head, basically the head lawyer at Ripple, and then you have the SEC guy here. I think he's just I want to say he's the head of regulation and enforcement and litigation. So it's like these guys are battling each other right now, right? So just to see him kind of like afraid of Matt here just tells me that, the SEC is definitely backed into a corner here, and the confidence that Matt Solomon showed in this interview here, or this talk here, just shows me that Ripple hired the right guy first off, but also Matt knows that, he's leading in this case, and that, the SEC can do it all they want here. They're obviously trying to, it's a power grab here. You have the CFTC battling for turf here. You have the SEC battling for turf for this new asset class, obviously. But the SEC is also obviously losing this battle, right? And you could just see it in the body language of the SEC employee here. Just want to give you that quick video there because, like I said, to put a face on the name that we've been talking about so much in this case for the last year and a half. That's the first time I've seen him talk. I've heard him. The beginning of this case, I heard him. There was a couple conference calls in the beginning of the case where you can call in and listen to the hearing going on. And I remember hearing him being like, "Oh, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about." And then obviously reading the briefings, you can. You don't hear him talk, but you can read it and you can be like, damn, this guy really knows what he's talking about. But then seeing him speak is just a different animal, right? And just seeing this video, I'm telling you guys, Ripple definitely made the right decision in hiring him. So the next thing here, staying on the same topic with the SEC, Library just tweeted this out. This was replying to James Filan gave us the update in the Library case. And just a couple weeks ago, the SEC basically filed a motion, right? And they were supposed to keep it to, I think, 10 pages or so, or like 5 pages. And they went over like by 7 pages. And I guess that's a no-no. I'm not a lawyer, but I guess attorney Jeremy Hogan and even James Filan here said that, that's something that you usually do not see. And when the court orders like a certain page limit, usually that's, you better stick to that page limit or the judge will come down hard on you. So when the SEC came down with this 10-page or whatever it was, 15-page motion here, and it was, twice the amount of what it was supposed to be, everybody thought that this judge was going to come down hard on the SEC, that you can't be doing stuff like this. But yesterday, what happened? The judge granted them the motion to exceed the page limit and denied the library's motion to strike. So it's like, are you kidding me? Like, it's even in the Ripple case, it's like the SEC gets away with anything, right? Any extension, yeah, sure, the SEC can have it, right? Oh, you want to do an extra 10 pages? Sure, you guys can have it. It's like the rules just don't apply to the SEC for some reason, and that's BS. You can't be doing that. If you're a judge, you can't be giving special treatment just because it's a government agency. That's some bullshit. Straight up bullshit right there. And even so, Library tweets this out. They say the same thing. Complete bullshit. Not sure why we're having a trial when the SEC doesn't even have to follow the rules of the court. I mean, it's just, you can't do that. You just really can't do that. And it's sad to see, right? It's sad to see that the SEC gets special treatment. But what else is new, right? The last thing I want to talk about in this video is this quick tweet by Pomp. As much as the Bitcoin Maxi here that I love, Anthony Pompliano, he had this great tweet here that I always try to say this to my friends, when there's a bear market. It's like, you have to understand, fortunes are made in bear markets, not in bull markets. And that is the most truest statement that could be said. The best time to invest in this market is in bear markets. This is when no one's talking about it, right? Think about if you invested $100,000 in the last bear market. If you put like a couple $100,000 in ADA at 9 cents, and then it went up to $3, right? Or you put a couple thousand in Ethereum when it was at $120 and it shot up to $5,000. I mean, bear markets is where the real fortunes are made, guys. So I know people are being, all crazy out there. You see the Fear and Greed Index at 8 yesterday, which is insane, single digits. Know that these are the best times to accumulate. I'm not giving you financial advice, but when there's fear in the market, right? When people are screaming and everybody's panic selling, that's usually the best time to dollar cost average and to start getting into some of these tokens. Some of these altcoins are down 75, 76% from their all-time highs. I mean, yeah, they could go down a little lower, but I mean, this is not a bad time to start plugging away. And like I said, not financial advice, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing, right? I'm going to keep buying all the way down. If it goes down another, if Bitcoin goes down to 26, 25,000, whatever, I know at some point it's going to be 1 million, right? So I'll take little pieces, little nibbles here, little nibbles there as it goes down. But, it looks like we're trying to find a bottom here. And it's kind of good to see that Bitcoin has been holding up Bitcoin and crypto has been holding up pretty well as the stock market's been collapsing, right? Stock market had one of the worst days in 2 years on yesterday or on Thursday. And then today it's crashing again. And crypto's kind of holding in between that $28,000 to $30,000 level for Bitcoin. So it's a great sign for me. It should be a great sign for you guys. It looks like we're finding our bottom here. And I'm telling you, in these bear markets, this is where you make the big money. When other people aren't buying, right? Get in now, and then when this thing starts moving up, then the FOMO starts coming in, and all those people that just left the market in the last 6 months, they come pouring right back in, because that's what the retail does. When the green candles start coming in, that's when they all start FOMOing into these projects. So obviously do your research, right? Do your own research. Not financial advice, obviously, but, just telling you guys. It's just telling you what I do. But I'll end it there. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. But remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do not take anything I write or say as financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. And thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.